Black Panther, Wakanda Forever is the latest film in the MCU universe, and of course, a sequel to the ultra successful Black Panther film. And as we all know, the star of that film, Chadwick Boseman, has tragically passed away from cancer a few years ago. So this film has to deal with that loss for his character, King T'Challa, and how the kingdom of Wakanda can move on from that loss. Now, I'll start by saying that I wasn't the greatest fan of the original Black Panther film. I thought it was okay. It had some highs, it had some lows. But as far as MCU films go, I thought it was kind of mid. So I wasn't really knowing what to expect going to this film, Wakanda Forever, because one of the things that I did love about the first movie, Chadwick Boseman, was now no longer going to be a part of this film. So I have my expectations tempered, if you will, going into this film. And, I don't find it to be as good as the first film even, and I watched the first film again a few days ago in preparation for the sequel, and it didn't really age that well or hold up that well for me. I realized there was a cultural phenomenon, everyone loved it, it got all this hype, all this buzz, but I just wasn't buying into it. Just for me personally, it wasn't that great of a film, but I still gave it a 7 out of 10 bully, so it was good but not great in my opinion. But this film, yeah, not as good as the first. I love director Ryan Coogler. I love his Fruitvale Station, and I love Creed. I just don't love what he's been doing with the MCU films, with the original Black Panther, and now with this sequel, Wakanda Forever. I just feel like there's something lacking, whether it's the action scenes or whether it's the storytelling, the narrative. It just doesn't seem to be all clicking for me in terms of Ryan Coogler and his abilities. I know the guy's a great director. He does some fantastic work outside of the MCU, but I just don't find it clicking within the MCU genre. And this film, I don't. First of all, I'll start the positives. I thought the cast all around did a fantastic job. This film is put on the show. The weight of the film is put on the shoulders of Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri, who is King T'Challa's brother. She is the emotional center of the film. She carries this film. I thought she was fantastic. I loved her in the first movie. I love Letitia Wright as an actress in general and everything that she's been in, but I thought she did a great job in carrying the emotional weight of this film. Angela Bassett as the queen. Oh man, she was just fantastic. So regal, so composed, and yet so powerful. And I thought she was wonderful as well. Okoye was great. All the characters were great. This movie introduces a few new characters. One that is revealed in the trailers is, of course, Namor the Submariner. Namor, and I used to read comics a lot as I was a kid, and I'll be honest, Namor wasn't really my favorite character. Whenever he did pop up as a guest star in a Fantastic Four comic or an Avengers comic, I was like, yeah, I wasn't really into it. I just didn't really like his whole vibe, his whole character. So when they said they were going to introduce Namor into the Black Panther universe, I'm like, okay, we'll see how that goes. The actor who played him was fine. I thought he could have been a little more charismatic, had a little more presence to him. I thought he was a slightly lacking in that sense, but physically he portrayed Namor really, really well. The action scenes were done well, but the whole Namor storyline and another storyline with another new character that's introduced, it just really added to the bloatiness of the film. The film is 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and it's way too long. The first hour, I feel like you can just skip and walk right in at the 1 hour point and you'll be fine. I'm all about emotional depth. I love character development. I love plot development, but not at the expense of the efficiency or flow of the film. There's ways you can develop character, there's ways you can develop story without making the story feel bloated. I felt that this story for Black Panther Wakanda Forever was definitely bloated. There's a lot of side stories and backstories that they went into that I honestly didn't really felt that they needed. The whole Namor sub story was like, yeah, okay, I get it why you're doing it, but that could have been really condensed. This whole other character that they introduced who hasn't been shown in the trailers, but is a prominent part of the movie. I feel like she was just put in the movie just to promote Marvel's Phase 4 and Phase 5 and Phase 6. I don't know if she really had any relevance for the movie at all, and I think the film could have been a lot better without her or that character. And when this character suits up, it's like the suit was just very Power Rangey for me, and I just didn't care for it. So I didn't care for that character too much. So yeah, the film is just way too bloated. That it could have been condensed a lot more. Technically, I don't know if Ryan Coogler can pull off the needs of a comic book film. As in the first movie, Black Panther, the action scenes are just decent at best. Again, there's a lot of that shaky cam, up close camera work, so you can't really tell what's going on. Things are moving around too fast, so there's a lot of fight scenes going on, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's fighting who or what. So that was really confusing. I will say that the Act 3 action scenes were really well done. Those, the more epic ones, okay, those are great. But all the ones before that, I was like, man, this is just more of the same. I don't care for it. It wasn't that impressive to me. And I don't know if this was just a nature of my theater setting, but this movie was really, really dark, except for especially for the first hour. There's a lot of scenes that take either at dusk or at nighttime, and I just couldn't tell what the hell was going on. You can see people like coming out of the water. I'm like, who is that? Is that somebody? Is that some mariner? I couldn't really tell. So that could just be again a nature of the theater I was in, the specific theater, but the film itself is very, very dark at a lot of times. And again, a lot of the action scenes take place in the dark, so again, it makes it hard to really tell what's going on. So yeah, I just feel like this film could have been a lot shorter, a lot more condensed, a lot more efficient in the flow, and that would have made the film a lot better. I get it that this is an emotional ride for Shuri and the Kingdom of Wakanda to to mourn and grieve for the death of King T'Challa. I'm like, part of me is like, and this is no way against the real actor Chadwick Boseman, but in terms of the movie, okay, you address it in the film, and then you just kind of move on. But this film, actually, I'm okay with the choice to have the whole film about this grief in the morning, but the film's gonna flow. It's gonna move. And there are a couple of times I was looking at my watch and like, okay, when is this gonna move on? And again, like I said before, I feel like you can walk in at the hour point in the movie and you really wouldn't miss anything, except for some character, backstories and whatnot. So the last 1 hour of the film is really where the film takes off. So yeah, I just wasn't feeling Wakanda Forever too much. And I know my original opinion of the original film wasn't a popular one because everyone just loves it and gives it all this praise. And I thought it was okay. This film, unfortunately for me, was even a little worse. So for me, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever gets a 6 out of 10. Thanks so much for watching my review. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel, MC on Film, for more reviews in the future.